Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Alyssa, and for today's video, I am bringing you this no foundation base makeup tutorial. First of all, I am so excited because I cannot tell you the last time I did a tutorial that focused on my base makeup. I typically am an eye makeup girly, but I've always done my base makeup pretty much the same. But today, I'm switching it up on you guys and I am super excited. And that is right, I did say no foundation at all on this skin, and believe me, you wouldn't be able to clock that. Look how good this skin looks, you guys. I literally cannot even deal, and I'm so excited to share with you this technique. I found it on TikTok. I saw someone do it, and I was like, I need to give that a try. And you guys, I started doing this a couple weeks ago, and literally every time I've done my makeup since, this is exactly how I do it. I of course change up some of the products occasionally and the lips, but literally I'm obsessed with this base makeup. I cannot stop doing it. It feels so lightweight and so good on the skin because instead of layering like 7 products on top of each other, it is all pretty much like one layer of makeup, which I will explain as we kind of get into it. So if you are someone who does not like the feeling of makeup on your skin, but you like wearing makeup, you need to keep on watching. This tutorial is for you. So without further ado, because I want to jump right on into it, if you want to see how I got this absolutely snatched base using no foundation, then let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with my Fenty Beauty, I think this is, the True Matte Pro Filter, other than the hydrating one, because I believe there was like the regular Pro Filter, the matte, and I think there was a hydrating one. I have used the regular and the True Matte. I believe I did a review back in the day. They are essentially like the same thing in my book. The matte one did keep me matte over a longer period of time than the original, but they're so similar that like I don't have really like a favorite. I just kind of use whichever one I've got. So for this look, I have been using the True Matte because it's the one that I have currently, and I just like something that helps sink more in the skin that's not really heavy. So I don't like using like a balm or anything too pore feeling. I like my skin to be like a little bit more liquidy products on it, if that makes sense. Okay, so once I kind of let my primer sink into the skin and kind of do its thing, I'm going to go in with my concealers first. So I'm going to start with my Milani Conceal and Perfect. Mine is in the shade 130 Light Beige. I'm obsessed with this concealer, you guys. It is so good in my personal opinion. I would love to have like more colors because this is more like a true concealer for me, but I have way too many brightening concealers at the moment. But I think this is such a good concealer. I feel like it works great for my oily skin. It doesn't break down, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to put this in my usual areas like I normally would. I do go a little heavier in the inner corner just so I can really move that around. And then I am going to do it like this, like this. Over top, I am going to go with my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Love this stuff. I have the shade Fair Beige, and I'm going to lightly pop over this to help bring a little bit of brightness in these areas, because while I do want it concealed, of course, like I want it to be like a layer of almost like foundation, I do also want it to be my normal bright self. So I'll put a little on my nose, right over the one on the chin, and I'll be done with the brightening concealer. So because I like the concealer to marinate in these areas for a little bit longer, and of course this is all about creating like one layer of foundation, I'm going to go ahead and use my other cream products as well. I have been using the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer, like the Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer. I use mine in the shade 03 Macchiato, and this is what it looks like. I have been using my Real Techniques sculpting brush, which I cannot find these anymore, you guys. This brush is such a staple. So I just grab quite a bit of it and I just kind of cup my areas. It's gonna feel like a lot. Don't let it scare you. And I'm just gonna kind of do like this, cup the areas like that, because I will blend it up as like my bronzer, but I am laying this down also as my contour because the shade does work well for me. With that, I will put it on my forehead around my hairline, like so. And then I'll do the littlest bit on my jaw. You can skip this if you want. You just have to make sure you really blend that good girl, because that's something that's easy to forget. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm gonna stop there for the bronzer. And now I'm gonna go in with the blush. Fenty Beauty, the cream blush, the Cheeks Out cream blush. Mine is in the shade Summertime Wine 08. Guys, this is like my favorite cream blush. I cannot get enough of this specific color, and I like to go in with the Fenty Beauty 125 face brush for this. I pick it up. It doesn't take much, and I pop that on right here. The thing I like about the blush is once I lay this down here, I can always add more if I want to. And so I just kind of play that by ear since I do have the concealer right there. So this is where I'm sitting. I also at this moment like to take more of the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer, and anywhere there is like no product, because obviously I do not have product here, and on this area of my face I actually just, almost as if it's gonna be my foundation, which seems so weird to do, but just trust the process. I look like a hot mess express for real. All right, so now that we have all this laid down, this is probably the most important step of it all. I'm gonna take my setting spray. This just happens to be the Milani Fruit Fetish Make It Last in the scent Kiwi Watermelon, and we are going to spritz this bad boy down. So we are really gonna, don't be shy. For an oily girl, this feels very funny, but do not be shy. And I'm gonna take my beauty sponge, and we are going to start blending out the concealer first. So anywhere that's concealer, I'm gonna start doing my thing, girl, and really blending it out. And you can always add more setting spray if you feel that you need to. Like if you feel like you let it sit too long, you can add more setting spray, because the ticket here is we're not swiping or blending anything super crazy. We're truly just like pushing it into the skin, which I know that sometimes like when I get lazy, like I'll start kind of like swiping things around, and that's not what we want to do here at all. This is so funny because it gives me massive clown vibes. Like you're just not gonna convince me that I do not look like a clown right now. It is so funny. So now that we look like this, I can't even tell if this is like worse or better than where we're sitting at. I'm gonna take more of the setting spray and again, spritz those areas. This is gonna help everything continue to move considering it's been sitting on my face for a minute. So I'm gonna start with the blush next because we're pretty much going lightest to darkest. The blush and the like contour bronzer area was the area I was most scared for, I won't lie, because I was like, how do you make it so they like don't get too muddy together and you like didn't waste putting down the product? It is a very fine line and it's very strange, but that's the good thing about, I said earlier, being able to add more blush and this kind of step back as you kind of blend it out if you feel like it's not kind of where you wanted it to be initially. And so then I'm just going to take and start doing the bronzer, really making sure to push this into the skin. Don't forget the jaw, friends. Do not forget the jaw. We did put makeup there, so we need to make sure we blend that out. So at this point, what I am going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more of the cream bronzer and just a smidgen. I'm like, I really want it like back here, just a little bit to kind of deepen up those areas, and just a little bit in the upper portions of my forehead. So like now, because I have all that down, I can just add it back. Just add a little bit more to bring just a little bit more color to my skin. And then of course my big thing that I'm going to add is more blush, and I like to go in with more blush at this point, especially because that way I can shape it a little bit more how I like. When I first lay it down, that is the thing I haven't kind of mastered yet, is like, because my concealer's in the way, I don't want to blend my blush into like my concealer area, I find it hard to find the perfect spot to lay it down. And you guys know I like a lot of blush, Like I like to cup it along my cheeks like this. Like I am a blush girly. So I have not figured out a way to master not really having to go back in with the blush per se, because as you can see, it's not like I'm adding a little bit. Like I'm adding a good bit, and then I'll do a little spritz in that area and we'll just go right on in and really blend this out. So if you guys have any tips or tricks for me on that, I would love to know, because every time I do this, I do have to go in with more blush because I just cannot lay down the amount that I'm looking for to start. And if there is no way to do it, that's okay. This is not like it's a hard step for me at all, and it really lets me concentrate it how I like to do it. And then I'll take, you know, whatever's left on the sponge, do a little across my nose, because you guys know I love doing that. And so with this being everything that I've got going on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting with a little bit of powder. So the big thing for me is the main concealed areas. So up underneath my eyes, my forehead, because my bad boy, my little forehead wrinkles, they'll start acting an absolute fool. So I'm going to take, for now, I've been really working through this Pretty Vulgar translucent powder. It's called the Powder Room Matte About It powder. I really do like this stuff. And I've been using my Tati Beauty sponge. I'm telling you, ever since I got on this, like, this type of a sponge kick over, like, a beauty blender or something, I just can't stop doing it. Like, I feel like it sets my makeup in such an amazing way. I am going to do a wee bit of baking on my jawline, and I'm just going to let that sit for just a moment or two. I am going to quickly throw on my brows, and we'll be right back. Alright, now that my brows are on, I'm just going to take a little fluffy brush. This one is the Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush, and I'm just going to kind of wipe away any excess powder that may be kind of sitting anywhere so it doesn't look too heavy. And then by doing this and kind of lightly brushing over my face, I also lightly kind of set almost anywhere. I'll do it lightly over my blush, just a hair, and kind of like that. And then now I'm going to add a little bit of powdered bronzer so I can truly kind of set that in place. There's not a lot of things that I can do where I don't set my makeup. This is probably the least amount I've ever really set my makeup in general. So I'm going to go in with the Benefit Hoola bronzer, tried and true. And I do take this Luxie 522, another tapered highlighter brush, and just have them in 2 different colors. Love that for me. And so I'm gonna dip this in there, and I don't use a lot. I just wanna use a little bit so I can help really kind of like shape up this like contour type of an area. And then of course, we'll build that back up here as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, same thing, I'm gonna take a Jeffree Star JS5 little fluffy brush, and I'm going to pop this into my crease, and I'm going to kind of pull it out almost as if I was going to do like a cut crease. Like I'm not going to like rainbow shape over my eye and follow my whole natural crease. So I'm going to do this and pull it out with my brow just to kind of keep everything lifted. And then I will pull this down just a little bit onto my nose. It's a light little nose contour. It's been a minute since I've like really contoured my nose. So when I started doing it with this look, like I just kind of did it without thinking about it, and I was like, ooh, she's back in her nose contour era. So we're gonna let me have that. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of highlighter. Now the highlighter I use changes up depending on like what I'm wearing and what kind of vibe I'm going for. Today I'm going to use my tried and true ABH Amrezy highlighter, and I've been taking literally a Morphe M441 like fluffier blending brush, and I've been picking up the tiniest amount. This feels so wrong for me, but I've been using just a little bit to really hit the highest points of my cheeks, because I mean, I love a good highlighter and I will put that mess anywhere, but I like that this keeps it a little bit more controlled. I'm not gonna do this all the time, okay? Listen, when I want a lot of highlight, I want a lot of highlight, and I could put a lot of highlight on using this anyways, but I'll touch it above my brow just like that. I will hit it on my nose, of course. And then I do take a smaller like pencil brush, and we are of course gonna pop that right in that highest arch of my brow. And then also in my inner corner. So at this point, I'm now gonna take a little bit more setting spray and I'm going to set everything in place now that I've added more powders to the look. This is gonna be a lot less than I had in the beginning, but still a good decent amount. And I'm physically gonna dry this. At this point, if you feel like you wanna press your anything else into the skin with your sponge, you definitely can. And I just add it as I see fit, as it dries, just to make sure I'm keeping everything real nice and seamless. At this point, obviously, it depends on whatever you want to do for the lip. It's completely up to you. I have done matte lips, I've done regular lipstick, I've done just gloss, I've done nothing. It's kind of up to you. Today, I think I'm going to use this Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade 005 Petal. I don't use this very often because it sits to the side because it's a little too tall for like my storage and everything of my other lip glosses. So I was like, let me just go ahead and pop this on. And so we'll do this. Anyways, you guys, this is the completed makeup look. I am obsessed with it because I think my skin looks so natural and so healthy. And you guys, it's so lightweight on my skin. I think if you were someone who like really likes to wear makeup but you don't like the feel of makeup on the skin, this is a technique for you. The one thing you just want to make sure you do is use a lot of setting spray. Be generous with the setting spray. I highly recommend the Milani Make It Last setting sprays, whether it's any of this, like, I don't know if these are limited edition, but whether it's the Fruit Fetish ones, whether it's the standard Make It Last, this is an excellent setting spray. It's like $10 or $11, so it's not very expensive. I know it looks small, but it goes a long way. It lasts forever because you just want to be very, very, very generous with it because that's what's going to make everything melt into the skin, look super natural, and make sure that the products that you have had sitting on your skin for a minute don't go anywhere. So make sure that if you're going to do this, you are very, 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 very generous with your setting spray, or else I don't think you're going to achieve the same look. Anyways, you guys, that is all for this base tutorial. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited that we are now in 2023, that we are getting things rolling. We started off with a base tutorial that I've never ever done before. And so yeah, good things are coming. As always, let me know if there's any specific content you guys want to see from me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this look in general. And yeah, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, it is much appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up goes a long way. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on my other socials linked down below. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!